All right, let's jump right into this incredible manufacturing boom we're seeing right now. Because today, we're going to uncover a massive, hidden vulnerability that's just lurking inside these brand new, state-of-the-art facilities. Welcome to this explainer. We're going to break down exactly why the software running our newest factories might actually be their single biggest point of failure. So let's get into it.
To really grasp the scale of what we're talking about, we have to follow the money. And there's a lot of it. Since January 2025, American manufacturers have committed over $1.7 trillion to a massive domestic reshoring wave. We're talking about hundreds of companies just pouring capital into advanced technology, automotive, and semiconductors. On the surface, the headline numbers paint this picture of an unprecedented industrial renaissance. They're pouring concrete, setting up new lines, and it all looks absolutely phenomenal.
But there's a catch. This boom has a severe, and honestly, kind of quiet bottleneck. Despite all of that capital flooding in, the U.S. manufacturing sector actually lost 82,000 workers over the last year. This exposes a huge talent shortage of skilled operators, controls engineers, and process designers. You've got all this money flowing in, right? But a shrinking workforce to actually run the operations. Capital gets tight, construction timelines stretch out, and the skilled talent simply isn't there. Which brings us to a frankly shocking reality. You walk into these newly minted facilities, the machinery is gleaming, it's totally cutting edge, but a striking number of them are trying to track their incredibly complex production using brittle 1990s-style Excel spreadsheets. Literally. The machines are brand new, but the software running them is fundamentally stuck in the past. Let's move to Section 1, Why Spreadsheets Fail Scale, and look at the resulting operational nightmare.
Look, spreadsheets are exceptional calculation tools. They are great for your taxes, but they are terrible for your factory floor. When a plant pushes past, say, roughly 50 employees, or adds a second shift, the spreadsheet breaks down in very predictable and highly costly ways. Why? Because of structural failures. It totally lacks a fundamental understanding of physical manufacturing constraints, which just leads to a massive cascade of operational risks.
The most immediate and painful failure mode here is what we call this infinite capacity assumption. A spreadsheet will happily let a planner assign 400 hours of work to a CNC mill that only has 160 available hours in a given month. It accepts labor assignments without ever checking if the operator is, actually available. It gives you the illusion of a schedule, but a spreadsheet doesn't know that your machinist can't be in two places at once. And planners using Excel intuitively default to forward scheduling, meaning they start a job now and work forward just to see when it lands. But that provides zero operational buffer. A single one-day material delay cascades into literally every subsequent operation. Or worse, what if someone manually types an extra zero by mistake? Suddenly, raw materials and machine time are artificially blocked across the entire facility. It spreads like wildfire. A planner can build this incredibly intricate schedule in the front office, but without real-time equipment data, say a machine is just running a bit slow on a Friday, that schedule is obsolete the very moment the shift begins. Lead times extend, inventory balloons just to cover all that uncertainty, and the factory defaults to reactive firefighting instead of proactive manufacturing. A shop floor tethered to a brittle sheet really can't pivot, it just breaks.
All right, moving on to Section 2, the packaged software trap and why generic MES fails.
So, recognizing that spreadsheets are a dead end, people often jump to packaged enterprise resource planning or manufacturing execution systems, ERP and MES. Now, these fit perfectly in highly standardized environments, but reshored mid-market operations, they rarely look like that. They're high-mix, custom fabrication environments. When manufacturers try to force package software to fit highly custom processes, the 5-year total cost doesn't just grow, it balloons to 200 to 300% of the initial licensing cost. You wind up paying an absolute fortune for professional implementation and endless custom integration workarounds. So the crucial point here is that for high-mix environments, a custom-built software architecture actually delivers faster time to value. While spreadsheets carry massive operational risk, packaged MES carries massive financial risk. Actually, 40 to 70% of those huge monolithic projects end up under-delivering. A phased custom build, mapped precisely to your plant's unique constraints, minimizes both operational and financial exposure. It really is a game changer.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, the phased custom software roadmap, and building the data spine.
Instead of doing a huge Big Bang approach that completely overwhelms the plant floor, you need a highly adaptive, phased roadmap that aligns technology investments with a physical 12 to 24-month plant ramp-up. You start by building the data spine in Phase 1 with digital production tracking, basically capturing every part's digital birth record. Then, you incrementally add capabilities over time, proving your return on investment at every single gate. No more guessing.
The real critical shift happens in Phase 2. This is where you finally kill the spreadsheet and the dependency on tribal knowledge, replacing it with a backward-pass scheduling algorithm. Unlike a spreadsheet, this algorithm understands real physical constraints. It works backward from the due date to find the latest possible start time. This naturally builds slack into your schedule and automatically flags genuine capacity bottlenecks way before they actually happen. Moving right into Phase 3, you have to connect the floor to the enterprise, and avoiding expensive integration failures here is absolutely critical. The secret is utilizing an ISA 95 stack approach to strictly decouple systems. Think of it like separating the brain of your business from the muscle of the factory floor. By setting up robust relational databases and standard protocols, clean data flows via APIs directly from your suppliers straight to the barcode printers on the floor without a single manual keystroke. And the ultimate payoff arrives in Phase 4. Listen, you can't just plug AI into a broken Excel sheet, but with a pristine, custom data spine in place, you unlock true smart manufacturing, like using agentic AI to autonomously detect and mitigate supply chain risks. These advanced tools can natively elevate your entire operation, but only once that foundation is completely secure.
Let's wrap things up with Section 4, breaking your valuation ceiling, the private equity angle.
So, why does all this matter to the bottom line of your business? For owner-operators, this software gap is not just a headache on the shop floor. It is a strict valuation ceiling. Private equity entering 2026 is hyper-focused on disciplined operational value creation. Acquirers are actively hunting for this specific weakness: great machinery, but disconnected, spreadsheet-run data systems. They are looking exactly for this kind of incomplete technology integration. They do this because they know they can swoop in, rip out those spreadsheets, standardize the software layer, massively increase EBITDA, and capture all the value that the current owner just left on the table. Bridging the software gap isn't just an IT project. It's how you ensure you capture your company's full valuation premium yourself, rather than handing it over at a steep discount to a financial sponsor when you eventually scale or exit. I want to leave you with this massive red flag question from the 90-day assessment checklist. Think about this for a second. What happens to your entire production schedule if your primary planner is absent for 2 weeks? If the answer is that the schedule becomes an unmanageable black box, or if the answer simply scares you, then it is time to stop managing your factory's future in a spreadsheet. Build the software that builds your business. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep innovating.